I am thrilled to introduce our first three presenters of the day, Paige Kesey, Emily Silvius, and Lauren Zastro. Paige, Emily, and Lauren completed the final culmination of three projects that have been studied by several OTD graduates for the past 7 years. These three projects focus on aging individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities through the eyes of families, direct service providers, as well as the individuals themselves. The topic of these three projects have special personal meaning to me, and I am proud of how Paige, Emily, and Lauren were able to bring these projects to final fruition. Here is Paige, Emily, and Lauren to share the research journeys with you.
Thank you, Dr. Hakovich. My name is Paige Kesey.
My name is Emily Silvius.
And I'm Lauren Zastro.
Our research was on the successful aging of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities as perceived by family members, direct service providers, and the individuals themselves.
We're excited to share this research with you that we've been working on throughout the program.
Emily and I are going to begin by going over a brief review of current literature on this topic. The diagnosis of intellectual and developmental disability, or IDD, generally involves below-normative intellectual functioning present since birth or infancy with symptoms that endure throughout one's lifespan. These symptoms include a wide range of impairments such as those listed on the slide. These deficits can lead to difficulties meeting the demands of daily life expected for one's age, culture, and community. Autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, is an umbrella term for a range of developmental conditions with persistent deficits in social interaction, repetitive patterns of behavior or interests, and symptoms that start in early childhood. One distinction between ASD and other IDD diagnoses is its substantial increase in prevalence over the past several years. A study completed by Van Naarden and Braun and colleagues found that ASD prevalence increased 269% from 1996 to 2010. This trend is believed to be associated with increased risk and also improved identification methods. In recent years, medical advancements have led to a substantial increase in the survival rates of individuals with IDD. In fact, individuals with moderate to severe IDD are living well into their 60s and 50s respectively. According to a study completed by Lewis in 2017, the population of individuals with IDD in the United States increased from 11.9% in 2010 to 12.6% in 2015. Of that population, just over 50% were 18 to 64 years old, and 41% were 65 and older. Demographers believe that these trends will continue to increase over the next 10 to 20 years. Care for individuals with IDD has also changed significantly from an institutional-based trend to community-integrated settings. In fact, there has been an 85.5% reduction of individuals with IDD living in state-run institutions from 1967 to 2012. The increase in lifespan for this population does not diminish the associated aging-related health concerns. Adults with IDD still have a much higher risk for early death. One reason for this may be due to the high rates of multimorbidity in this population. Hermans and Evenhaus found that nearly 80% of older adults with IDD presented with multimorbidity. The aging process is also intensified for this population, as ages 50 to 59 have comparable frailty index scores to ages 70 to 79 of the general population. Some examples of health concerns that are known to develop at earlier ages are listed on the slide. When combining this early onset of geriatric frailty with an increased life expectancy, quality of life in later years becomes a central area of concern. Mental health issues among this population is also a notable concern. However, many psychiatric disorders often go misdiagnosed or underdiagnosed because IDD symptoms overshadow other mental health symptoms. Individuals with IDD are actually more likely to have mental illnesses, such as those listed on the slide. A diagnosis of ASD may produce even greater vulnerability to these comorbid conditions. Creventis and Matson completed a study on 307 adults with IDD and found that those with ASD displayed significantly more symptomology for mental illness when compared to participants with IDD only. Another study completed by Hastis, King, and Livingston surveyed 281 adults with IDD and concluded that criteria-defined dementia is 2 to 3 times more common in the IDD population. Unfortunately, there's no curriculum requirement for U.S. medical schools to teach competency in the provision of care to persons with IDD. Medical providers are often ill-prepared for managing communication difficulties, behavioral issues, and developmentally disabling symptoms. The lack of education and training, coupled with insurance constraints and social stigmas, can make it difficult for people with IDD to access quality healthcare services. In general, older adults with IDD need the same types of services as any other older adult their age. However, adaptations to these services may be necessary to best meet their needs.
In review of literature, we also investigated a variety of occupation-related concerns for individuals with IDD, especially as they age. Regarding ADLs, Lynn and colleagues performed a study which concluded that less than half of adults with IDD are independent with ADLs. Even with this, independence with ADLs such as bathing, dressing, and grooming as these individuals age tends to decrease. Therefore, it is typical for individuals with IDD to require lifelong support from others to maintain quality of life. A recent movement supports conditions for individuals with IDD to experience employment. Though this movement benefits both the employer and worker, individuals have concerns for managing their own finances and often require assistance from various sources such as family, payee services, and paid support staff. As the workers reach retirement age, the change in environment often leads to social isolation. Further on social context, researchers found that individuals of older age with IDD also tend to lack effective supports from their family, caregivers, or friends. As a result, individuals experience social isolation and challenges with living arrangements, community involvement, and support for end-of-life care. Regarding accessibility, the Americans with Disabilities Act promotes physical accessibility for individuals with disabilities by minimizing barriers and providing accommodations. However, it does not greatly address the needs of individuals with IDD and ASD. For example, individuals with ASD may experience auditory hypersensitivity, visual hypersensitivity, or difficulty with attention and behavior regulation in public settings like movie theaters. This unfortunately contributes to occupational marginalization and injustice. Occupational justice is a right to all individuals. This includes the right to age in place if plausible. Aging in place is desired by most but is not always practical. It is seen as an advantage for older adults as it serves a sense of security, connection, familiarity, self-identity, independence, and autonomy. According to Braddock, most individuals with IDD live with family. As parents age, caring for their adult child can have a negative impact on their own quality of life. Seltzer and colleagues found that high levels of stress and burden in these scenarios develop adverse health effects in the parent, such as depression and musculoskeletal conditions. This leads to a decreased ability to take care for one's own ADLs and overall decreased quality of life. As parents age and are less able to care for their loved ones, individuals with IDD must often seek supported living elsewhere, such as group homes, supervised apartments, and foster care. Within supported living, specialized services delivered by direct support providers for individuals with IDD are necessary to ensure health and meaningful living. To do so, Zakrajik, Hamill, and Cesaro suggest that service providers offer continued opportunity to explore community integration, support change and control, and promote overall independence. Researchers also found that providing this type of service requires knowledgeable staff with great skill in problem solving and strategizing. Unfortunately, statistics show high turnover and vacancy rates of direct service provider employees. This may be a result of inconsistent job titles and descriptions for paid service providers, as well as a low rate of state compensation. Test and colleagues highlight the need to develop the role of direct support staff into a respected and valued position to address these issues. In the final component of our literature review, we investigate how the individuals themselves perceive aging. A study by Stradova and colleagues found that individuals with IDD typically display a skewed perception of their condition. In the study, participants with IDD acknowledged that their lives had changed over time, but did not recognize specific changes in their health or functional status. Hull, Stainton, and Wilson found individuals with IDD to occasionally express concerns related to their aging parents and living arrangements, but secondary to experiencing life and engagement on a day-by-day basis and viewing the inevitable aging process in positive terms. To understand perceptions of individuals with IDD, their families, and their paid service providers, we wanted to find the answers to these questions.
The first of these current studies is Successful Aging, Growing Older with an Intellectual or Developmental Disability. This study investigates the following questions. What are recurring themes related to aging with IDD? What are the perceptions of older adults with IDD in the areas of health and occupation? What do individuals with IDD feel they need to age successfully? And what are clinical implications for meaningful and purposeful interventions to improve the quality of life for individuals with IDD?
For the second study, Family Opinions of Their Adult Children with Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, the researchers wanted to find the answers to the following research questions. What roles do family caregivers play in the lives of their adult loved ones with IDD? What are the major issues affecting successful aging of adults with IDD according to family caregivers? And how can occupational therapy help in successful aging of adults with IDD and their aging family members?
The third study investigates the opinions of paid support staff to address these questions. What health-related and occupation-related issues are paid service providers identifying as facing the aging population with IDD, and how are they currently addressing these issues? We also ask how satisfied are paid service providers in their ability to address the age-related issues faced by their clients. Overall, this study aims to identify the best implication for occupational therapy to meet these needs through the lens of individuals who spend extensive time with adults with IDD in residential and day centers, paid service providers.
The methods we used were qualitative analysis of focus groups and interviews. For Lauren's study titled Successful Aging, Growing Older with an Intellectual Developmental Disability, Lauren analyzed and combined the data from the studies by Orlov, Hall, Moore, and Powers. They completed a total of 35 interviews. All participants were required to be at least 40 years old, reside in a community-based residential home or facility, and be willing to share about their personal experiences of aging. For my study titled Family Opinions of Their Adult Children with Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, I analyzed and combined the data from the studies by Robinson and Harar. They completed a total of 8 focus groups with 21 participants. All participants were required to be a family member of an individual with IDD who was receiving services at either Bittersweet Farms or Sunshine Communities. They also had to be 18 years or older. For Emily's study titled Paid Support Staff in Successful Aging of Adults with Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, Emily analyzed and combined the data from the studies by Frederick, Mitchell, Myers, Norbeck, and Schaafsma. They completed a total of 19 focus groups with 70 participants. All the participants were required to be an employee at Bittersweet Farms or Sunshine Communities and work directly or indirectly with older adults with ASD or IDD and be willing to discuss the issue of concern regarding care of their aging clients. Coding and analysis. For the current studies, the method used was data analysis. We did a qualitative analysis of previous combined studies using NVivo. The primary student researcher reviewed digital audio recordings to confirm the transcripts from each of the past studies. Once we've confirmed the data from each study, we imported the transcripts into NVivo for analysis. We then coded significant and important quotations and themes using NVivo software. The faculty advisor and the student research assistant independently reviewed electronic or paper copies of the transcripts to determine significant and important quotations and themes. After completing step 1, the 3 researchers met to discuss and identify significant themes and quotations. From the discussion, we removed any unused themes and combined overlapping themes. The primary student researcher and faculty advisor reviewed and confirmed the final list of themes and sub-themes that we organized using NVivo software. We also chose significant quotations to support the themes and sub-themes. The faculty advisor confirmed these themes. Now we're going to talk about the results of our research studies, starting with Lauren.
I will begin by discussing the results of the individual interviews with adults growing older with IDD. Following the previously outlined methods, three main themes emerged: meaningful occupation throughout the aging process, health issues associated with aging, and aging in place. I will explain each of these themes individually, and there is no level of importance in their order. Engagement and meaningful occupation throughout the aging process emerged as a common theme, appearing in 20 out of the 35 interviews. Meaningful occupation manifested differently among participants as displayed in the pie chart on the slide. In descending order, the categories of occupation mentioned were related to leisure, work, everyday tasks, social participation, exercise, and religious activities. When asked what they wanted to keep doing as they aged, one individual responded, "I still want to do riding lessons, and I'm still going to ride until the day I die." A second individual explained, "I want to keep on going bowling and going out to eat and to the movies. I love doing all of that." A third participant answered, "I don't want to get older. I'm 54 and I'm still competing in Special Olympics swimming and skiing. I still like to be doing what I'm doing at 80. Participants wanted to continue their leisure occupations as they aged and did not have plans to give up or change these activities. When answering this same question, it was also common for participants to mention work. For example, one individual stated, "I just want to keep on working because I love my job." Similarly, another one simply answered, "Keep working." When the interviewer followed up by asking how often he would like to keep working, he stated, "Every day." 4 participants solely mentioned work as the only occupation that they cared to continue as they aged. Therefore, the researchers inferred that holding a job gave the individuals purpose and continued engagement in vocational activities was important to them. 5 participants mentioned simple everyday tasks as occupations that they would like to continue. For example, one individual stated that he would like to continue to take out the garbage and clear the table. A second person mentioned that she wants to do life, do banking, do tax money. Some participants provided more general answers. For example, "I just want to keep doing what I'm normally doing." Answers such as these led the researchers to infer that for some participants, completing small but central daily occupations held meaning and purpose in their lives. When asked the same question about what activities they would like to keep doing, several participants responded with occupations related to social participation. One participant referenced social outings when he answered, "I want to keep on going bowling and going out to eat and to the movies. I love doing all of that." A second participant also mentioned that she would like to keep going on social outings as long as I can. The second main theme that emerged among these interviews was the health problems associated with their aging process. Only 14 out of 35 participants brought up health-related issues. However, when asked if they had recently fallen, 60% of participants confirmed that they had. Only 6 individuals seemed to have insight into their health-related concerns, and 83% of participants were satisfied with their current health status. When asked if they had ever fallen, one participant answered, "Sometimes, but I'm okay." When the researcher followed up to clarify how often, the participant reiterated once a week. Yet when asked if she had any worries or concerns about getting older, she quickly answered no. A second participant answered, "I fall all the time. I fall here, I fall at work, I fall after getting out of my bathtub." When this participant was asked if she had any aging concerns, she did mention, "Your bones and all that stuff ache. I got arthritis in my knee and sometimes my foot will go like this and I lose my balance and I'm on the ground falling." This response indicated that she had some insight into age-related factors that could be contributing to her frequent falls. However, when asked if there was anything that she may need now or in the future to make her life easier, she responded no. Another participant explained, "I don't know if I just got it in my head, but I'm scared of falling because I fell so many times and break my nose twice, and they said maybe we need to go and look at your knees and see what's wrong with them." Although when he was asked to describe his overall health, he answered pretty good and stated that he can't think of anything he would need right now to make his life easier. When the researchers asked participants how they would describe their overall health, one participant stated, "I'm basically healthy. I was in the hospital last year over kidney failure, but other than that, I'm healthy." When asked if she had any concerns about getting older, she continued to answer, "I don't know. I mean, I'm not really concerned about getting older because everybody's going to get old." Another individual explained that her health was good because I don't smoke. She reiterated, I'm lucky to be where I am now. I'm not like Richard Simmons at all. Let's just say I'm kind of pleasingly plump. Let me put it that way. These individuals did not seem to have an accurate understanding of health-related concerns. Some participants did respond negatively to questions about their overall health. One individual stated that her health was simply bad. Some other participants provided answers such as, I have a few aches and pains. I gotta get more food in me. I gotta eat to keep my weight up. And I have to really watch it. As a diabetic and at my age, I have to really watch it as far as eating is concerned. These comments indicated that some participants did have some insight into important health-related factors. The open-ended question, what does getting older mean to you, yielded many interesting and insightful responses, such as, it means your metabolism slows down, or getting old means you're getting older, it means you can't go backwards, and growing up and to get bigger. Many individuals provided simple answers such as, I'm not sure, or I don't know. These answers indicated that the majority of participants lacked an understanding of the aging process and the health issues that may coincide. The third identified theme of this study was the common desire for participants to age in place. 32 out of the 35 participants were satisfied with their living arrangements. Only 8 could think of something that they would change about their home, such as a railing to go down to the basement, or another individual that answered that she would like to bring her cupboards down a little bit so she can reach them. When asked what they like about their house, participants made comments like, I feel it's God's gift to me. I get to come and go as I want. I like everybody in the home. And spending time with my roommates and staff. This sense of community and relationship seemed to be a shared reason for a continued desire to reside in their homes. When asked if there was anything that they would change about their home to make things easier for them, the majority of participants had responses such as, no, if I could, there's nothing I would really change, or I got everything I need. Another individual further explained, I don't want to be in a nursing home like a lot of people go. That would just be a disaster. Participants desire to continue living in their current homes as long as possible. However, they may lack an understanding of possible home modifications or adaptations to successfully age in place. One of the reasons participants seemed to enjoy their living arrangements was the social relationships they had formed with roommates, staff members, and friends. 33 out of the 35 participants referenced the value of social relationships in their interview. One participant stated, I'm thankful for my friends. I'm so thankful that I have it so good. They're real nice people. Another participant explained, she's a part of my family, when talking about a staff member. Several participants provided general responses, such as, yeah, I got a lot of them, or we do lots of stuff together, like we eat out or we take turns cooking dinner. The researchers inferred that the social relationships are important to participants, as group homes often offer a sense of community and belonging. 30 out of the 35 participants also expressed that they liked their jobs. When asked what they liked about work, one individual answered, it's fun to do, gets me out of here for a while. I get to enjoy my friends, just hang out. A different participant who works 2 jobs explained, I love them both, being around people, learning new things, and stuff like that. Some individuals explained that they felt comfortable and supported while at work. One participant answered, I'm happy here. I can do what I want to, and if someone got any problem with me, I can go to my job coach. Another participant said, I get along with all the people I work with, and I like all of them. They're all real nice people. When asked the follow-up question, is there anything that you do not like about your job? Almost all individuals answered no. Participants seemed to enjoy their jobs so much that they had no intention of retiring. When asked if there was an age that they would like to stop working, one individual answered, one of these days I'll give up, but I don't know when that's going to be. Another individual provided a similar answer, stating, I don't know, I'll work until I get tired of it. Some participants admitted that they planned to work for the rest of their lives, or until they no longer could. They provided answers such as forever, or as long as God keeps letting me do it. Another participant explained, I like to keep busy. I don't want to grow old and just sit around here and not do anything. Participants' answers indicated that working was important to them, and they were not planning on changing that part of their lives anytime soon. Occupational therapists can have an impactful role in promoting occupational engagement and advocating for continued occupational justice throughout the lifespan of adults with IDD. OTs can also provide educational services to enhance health and wellness and reduce risk of falls or aging-related health concerns. Some programming examples are listed on this slide. OTs can provide supports to help older adults with IDD successfully age in place and remain in the community. This may include assisting with home and environmental modifications, staff education, and transportation resources. Lastly, OTs can be a key component in pre-retirement planning to enhance the individual's preparedness for the retirement process, attitude towards a change in life roles, and active participation in continued occupational involvement as they age. Next, Paige is going to talk about the results of her study.
Thank you, Lauren. I will now explain the results from my study of family opinions of their adult children with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Using the in vivo analysis tool, 5 themes and 7 subthemes emerged, including caregiver role with the subtheme aging or dying caregiver, engagement in meaningful occupations, facility issues with the subthemes programming and staffing, finances, health and wellness with the subthemes long-term care, cognitive health, physical health, and decreased independence. The next several slides will have specific quotes that support these themes. Please read the quotes on the slides as I explain them. The first theme is caregiver roles. It was apparent that there was a general theme that the family members took on a caregiver role for their loved ones with IDD, and they were having difficulty letting go of that role. The difficulty letting go of their established caregiver role was expressed 28 times by 15 participants. The participants expressed their feelings of stepping back from their caregiver role over the years. The subtheme for caregiver role was aging or dying caregiver. The subtheme was brought up by 15 participants, and the participants mentioned that they realized that they had to let go of their caregiving role because they were aging, which made it more challenging to take care of their loved ones. They shared that they were having more health problems that made it difficult to care for their adult children. The next theme is engagement in meaningful occupations. Engagement in meaningful occupations emerged as a theme as the participants shared that the activities their adult children enjoy with the importance of aging successfully. Participants also mentioned that they would like their adult children to stay active and independent as much as possible. The discussion also led to how occupational therapists can help their adult children participate in meaningful activities. In the focus group, this theme was mentioned 19 times by 16 participants. One participant stated that she wanted her daughter to be as independent as possible by engaging in meaningful self-care activities. The next theme is facility issues. Participants found that there were many common issues with long-term living facilities they place their adult children in. This theme was mentioned 15 times by 10 participants. The participants acknowledged that their facilities had problems in 2 distinct areas that divided this team into 2 subthemes, including staffing and programming. Staffing was brought up 7 times by 7 participants, and the biggest complaint among the participants was the lack of communication between the staff and the high turnover of staff. Programming was brought up 8 times by 6 participants. The participants discussed that they want there to be more outings, therapy offered, and that some of the programs offered do not cater to a variety of individuals in the facility. One participant had concerns that her child is being offered programming with other individuals at different skill levels. Finances emerged as another theme among participants as it was mentioned 12 times by 6 participants. During the focus groups, participants had discussions about their children having difficulty managing money. The last major theme that emerged from the combined focus group data is health and wellness. Health and wellness was the most common theme, as 17 participants mentioned it 50 times. Participants engaged in a discussion of their child's health and wellness that emerged into 4 sub-themes, including cognitive health, physical health, decreased independence, and long-term care. Cognitive health was brought up 12 times by 11 participants, and family members shared that their loved ones have cognitive diseases such as dementia and Alzheimer's disease. One participant shared that their adult child is becoming more forgetful with his increased age. Physical health was brought up 12 times by 10 participants during the focus groups. Participants discussed that their children had become physically slower and had more physical changes. One participant shared that their daughter is physically aging faster than they thought she would. Decreased independence of the participants' loved ones was mentioned 7 times by 7 participants. Participants expressed concern that their children were losing their independence, especially those in a facility. One participant shared that their son is losing his independence because the staff does all of his self-care. And another participant expressed her child's frustration with their child's decreased independence. Long-term care was mentioned 19 times by 15 participants. This theme emerged as participants discussed that they want their children to live long and healthy lives. The participants may not be able to care for their children long term, but would like their children to always have a good and safe environment where they will have good caregivers available. They wanted the reassurance that their child will always have a safe environment to live. Implications for occupational therapy. Occupational therapists can work one-on-one with individuals with IDD to increase their independence with tasks the individual finds meaning in, such as self-care tasks, work, and leisure activities. Occupational therapists can also provide education to staff members at facilities who work with the individuals with IDD. OTs can gear education towards improving communication among staff members, communicating with individuals with IDD, and increasing programming in the facility to be more representative of several different skill levels and interests. OTs can also address concerns that the participants had with several life skills such as money management, physical fitness, cooking, and cleaning through group sessions at varying skill levels. OTs can also provide education on concerns the caregivers had, such as proper transferring techniques and caregiver burnout. Education can also include providing family members with advice with coping with caregiver stress, community resources, and access to support groups to help relieve caregiver burnout. Please refer to the handout for the comparison of my findings to previous researchers' analysis. Next, Emily will talk about her results.
I will now present the themes derived from the focus groups of paid service providers. Based on analysis of the data collected from focus groups conducted by Frederick, Mitchell, Myers, Norbeck, and Shafsma, we identified 3 primary themes and 7 sub-themes from the independently coded data. The identified themes are shown here on the screen, and I will describe each of them in the next slides with supporting quotes from the participants. The next few slides also contain specific quotes that support the themes, which you can read as I discuss them. The first theme we derived was health. Participants expressed numerous concerns for the overall health and well-being of their clients, especially physical mobility and cognition. They were particularly concerned about keeping up with the rapid decline in health. The first subtheme under health was a decline in cognition. Participants noticed a decline in overall cognitive function of their clients. One participant specified issues related to Alzheimer's, stating, with Alzheimer's, it's the same part of the brain that's affected. So will our folks get that earlier, or they can't tell us? And that could be a problem. Other participants mentioned that they struggle to determine whether their client's behavior is consistent with their existing developmental status or dementia. They also questioned the effects of long-term medication and self-harming behavior the clients have been engaging in. A second subtheme under health was a decline in physical health. Participants stated that most or all of their clients had developed comorbidities such as what's listed in the quote on the slide. Participants were concerned about an increase in falls as well for their clients' ability to express their age-related needs, calling the combination of comorbidities with communication deficits a double whammy. One participant stated, with the aging process, health concerns are going to become more and more of a challenge, and a lot of guys may not necessarily be able to fully express what's going on with them physically as they age. Another major theme participants discussed was the quality of care provided for their aging clients. This concern stemmed from several thematic components shown on the slide, which I will further discuss. The first sub-theme under issues of providing care was issues with communication. Participants highlighted specific challenges between individuals with IDD and their care providers. Participants also voiced concern regarding the lack of proper communication with their clients, health professionals, and physicians. One participant stated, "We need collaboration with people who understand the needs of people with autism, the providers that are going to be the future of serving people with autism, and with medical professionals with understanding of what can be done in order to help people as they're aging." Another stated, "The medical community in general is not a warm fuzzy when it comes to our population. They don't know how to handle our population. They don't know how to deal with people that can't communicate. How do we make sure that there are going to be good medical treatments for this population? It's not good right now." The second sub-theme under issues in providing care was the inconsistency of caregivers. Participants described their view on the importance of consistent care, stating it involves retaining good staff, kind, compassionate, but also creative staff who aren't just here to while away the hours, who just get the basic paycheck that we're getting. With a lot of older adult clients, especially with anyone with mental health issues, the consistency of care is so vitally important. Participants also emphasized that staff retention and turnover is a significant problem. They discussed the detrimental impact of poor retention rates and high turnover of clientele. This is similar to the results of Page's study. A third sub-theme under issues in providing care was a lack of education and training of staff. Participants expressed worry about their ability to accommodate clients with their increasing needs. One participant stated, "I don't know what they're going to do when they become more bedridden. I mean, they've always been told this is their home forever. I don't know what they're going to end up doing when they can't get out of bed." Specific requests for education included use of durable medical equipment and the general aging process on IDD. In hopes to meet these needs, a participant asked for more information on dementia and Alzheimer's and how to ease them through it. What could we do? More information on that stuff, like what they're going through and how we can see the signs of someone starting to go through dementia before it gets to the point where it's too late. Participants also expressed concern with young, inexperienced staff, stating the younger generation is not we need to make sure people are tending to their needs correctly and efficiently in regards to like brushing teeth, assisting, making sure they're showering, and checking individuals to make sure that their health is staying up. Another participant in agreement stated their desire for staff with more life experience. The final sub-theme discussed under issues with providing care was lack of funding. Participants expressed that to provide adequate care for their clients, they require more financial resources. A participant stated their concern for their clients' medical support and quality of life without proper resources. Another participant highlighted the discrepancy of research funding, stating there's no money for the adults. All the money is in the children and research with autism, but there's nothing allocated for our individuals to help us help them. Participants also discussed how increased funding could lead to better staffing circumstances. The final major theme was occupational engagement. Participants heavily discussed their concerns and challenges with supporting changes in the occupational engagement for their aging clients. They focused on the great importance of providing client-centered care to foster a fulfilling life. Participants also highlighted potential warrant for environmental adaptations and a desire to learn specifically how to best support their clients in times of transition and aging. Overall, they felt that they are constantly searching for answers on this topic. This brings us to the final sub-theme of aging in place. When asked about their greatest concerns for their aging clients, participants reported feeling worried about the quality of life their facilities can support. A participant questioned, where would they go after this if we can no longer support them here? Someone else stated, if we think about someone with autism going to a skilled nursing facility, it would just be a real bad fit for everyone involved. Another said, when you talk about the possibility of them needing to look at a different residence because of their needs getting harder and harder to get met, they're very resistive. They're very sad. Are there ways that we can continue to give them quality of life where they are? This concludes the themes of the study. The comparison of our findings to those of the previous researchers can be found on your handout. Having compared the present themes to those of the 5 previous studies and the current literature, we identified several implications for OT to benefit paid support staff and the population of aging IDD that they serve. First, OT can contribute to education to paid service providers. OTs are skilled in identifying performance deficits and can seek ways to inform caregivers on the process of aging specific to IDD. OTs can also provide caregiver education on encouraging a healthy lifestyle for their clients. They can also initiate advocacy efforts for increased funding via government sources or grants. By doing so, provider agencies can acquire a higher quality of care providers, develop more appropriate environmental conditions, and enhance the overall quality of life as individuals with the IDD strive to age in place. OTs can also share communication and advocacy skills with paid service providers who can then generalize the skills to enhance interactions with the clients, their caregivers, family, and healthcare team. We will end this presentation with an overview of the study's limitations, implications for future research, and conclusion, which Paige will discuss.
Thanks, Emily. Although these studies were compiled of several previous studies, the amount of participants remained a small sample size. Researchers also recruited all participants through 3 specific service providers, all within Northwest Ohio. Therefore, results may not be generalizable to all adults with IDD, family members, or paid service providers. Another limitation is the focus group method for data collection. A moderator was required to prompt discussion, posing a risk of influencing the discussion through personal bias. Lastly, the faculty research advisor for the present study also advised student researchers from all the previous studies. Although student researchers took measures to reduce bias, this consistency could have added researcher bias. The findings of these studies warrant further research to better understand the aging-related needs of adults with IDD. A larger sample size from a greater geographical region would yield a more diverse and generalizable group. Future research should also yield answers to questions and concerns that participants identified during the interviews and focus groups, such as those listed on the slide. Lastly, the participants with IDD frequently required further clarification or restatement of interview questions. Future studies should look into integrating universal language that facilitate better understanding and elicit more accurate responses. In conclusion, the population of older adults with IDD is growing rapidly. As the individuals age, they experience an increased need for assistance from others. To better meet their needs, we must first understand each individual's unique perception of successful aging, especially if it involves aging in place. This understanding will help encourage meaningful occupational engagement to thrive. We must also investigate biological patterns of aging specific to IDD so we can better promote their physical and mental health and educate caregivers to provide the best care for their loved ones and cherish clients to age in place as long as possible. All of these needs can be addressed within the scope of occupational therapy. Here are our references. Emily, Lauren, and I want to thank one another for your assistance and support through one another's research projects, Dr. H for giving us the reins on our research projects, as well as our outlier research assistant, Talia Gibson. Thank you to Bittersweet, Sunshine, and Woodlane for generating participants for our studies. And finally, a shout out to the class of 2020 for sharing our experience of endless possibilities and pandemic. Thank you all for viewing our presentation, and we look forward to connecting with you in the Q&A session.